Hiya friends, and welcome back to another Skyrim Mods of the Moment. Today, let's check out some of the most interesting new mods created by the community, including Immersion, graphics, gameplay, and quest mods. I'm Bard's College graduate, your faithful servant when it comes to Skyrim mods, and now let's begin with the first showcase. Dynamic Impacts is a combat mod that makes the gameplay feel more immersive with audio and visual feedback. When you attack an enemy, you'll hear unique new sounds and the sparks will fly, depending on the enemy's armor and the weapon you're currently using. There are also unique sounds and effects for blocking the attacks, and as of the new version of the mod, dragon impacts also are added to make fighting them more interesting. These sounds make the combat feel a bit more exciting, especially when paired with a mod like Precision. The vanilla quest journal has always been a bit unorganized, and the next mod finally changes that. Quest Journal Overhaul reimagines the quest menu, making it match the modern UI standards, both visually and functionally, making sure to keep you up to date with the quests of the game. It separates the quests by category, so the main quests have their own section, just as well as side and faction quests. Hold, location icons, and exclamation mark symbols for new quests are also added to the journal, and miscellaneous quests have their own pop-up menu to keep them separated. This mod is fully compatible with the gamepad and simply makes this menu more user-friendly and detailed. Craftian, the author of Orpheus and other interesting follower mods, has released yet another incredible companion. This is Celestine, an extremely righteous and dogmatic Breton cleric of Stendarr, the god of mercy, charity, well-earned luck, and justice.
It is through Stendarr that I was granted deliverance, and it is in his name that I will bring justice and mercy to those deserving of it.
Celestine's personality is aligned to lawful good, and emphasis on the lawful. She honors her oath sworn to Stendarr and won't budge from her duty no matter what. She is much unlike most followers, as she will challenge you and your views, making your journey together more interesting.
Do you think to hide your corruption from me? I can sense it, thick and corpulent, upon you. You have consorted with Daedric, and you will meet the same fate as them.
In combat, she is wrathful, using a mace and a shield, and some divine spells as well, in her eternal quest of hunting down corruption and destroying it.
This place, there is great evil at work here. Watch your step, and may Stendarr protect us.
This mod has more than 1500 unique voice-acted lines of dialogue, and Celestine is able to react to pretty much everything, including the quests, factions, DLC content, and more.
I never was one for crowds. Surrounded by so many people, I find it difficult to hear the gods over this din. Each of us shows our faith in different ways, but I admit, flesh does little for me. Not that these priestesses leave much to the imagination. I grow weary of these games. By some miracle, we are yet undetected.
She especially has interesting interactions while doing the Daedric quests of the game.
There will be clear skies in the quagmire before I relent to evil or the heretic. What matters is that Baal's influence has been stopped.
To start her quest, head to the Blue Palace in Solitude, where she's arguing with a guard.
Hold there, citizen. If you have some grievance you want to take up with our friend here, then please, take it outside the city walls.
After you accept the quest of investigating the Wolf Skull Cave outside the palace, Celestine seems eager to join this mission, and that's where you guys hit it off, so to say.
What wickedness is this? Let his holy flame purge the undead filth from these halls.
Help her uncover her past, and she'll help you keep in the light of Stendarr. There are already many appearance replacers for her to choose from, and here I'm using Urban's Celestine replacer with the mature complexion, which I think suits her perfectly. I'm in love with this companion. as she is such a breath of fresh air in this game, and I think she feels authentically like her own person and not just another shield maiden of the Dragonborn. Now let's jump into something else completely. True Nordic Trolls Revamped visually overhauls the two types of trolls in Skyrim. Cave trolls are now forest trolls, and frost trolls are mountain trolls, and they're twice as large as they are in the vanilla game. Some might have already guessed it, but the inspiration behind this design are the Scandinavian fairytale and folktale trolls, so that is why they look vastly different from Skyrim's original art style, but they still have vanilla animations and sounds though. These trolls look amazing in this environment, and under no circumstances do I want to attack them now. Now, let's add a small immersion mod to the mix, Shouts of Stallholders. This mod adds unique lines to those NPCs who sell their goods on the many marketplaces of the cities of Skyrim.
If you want a quick sale, come and show me what you've got. Get Skyrim's freshest fruit and vegetables here. None of that Whiterun slop.
Don't forget, I buy as well as sell. Good prices paid.
They already have a couple of lines each, but now there are simply a lot more of them. This mod also adds lines for the 3 market style salesmen in Raven Rock in Solstheim, as in vanilla game they just don't have any. Come on guys, you need to market your goods.
Solstheim is a dangerous place. Get your potions here to help you in your adventures.
In any case, this mod livens up the cities even more and is a great addition to your game. That's not all, as there's yet another immersion mod I've absolutely fallen in love with, aka usable campfires. This mod finally makes the various campfires in the world interactable, so you can light them up and cook a nice meal in the nature. And I'm pretty sure most of us agree that food always tastes better outside, so this mod is much needed. I think I've been waiting for a mod like this for ages. Usable Campfires is built on base object swapper, so be sure to grab that one to make it work, as well as campfire animations to add these neat little animations to the mix. Xander, a crewman in the Red Wave ship down in the docks of Solitude, tells us a story on how he was a captain of a ship called the Argent Raptor, until it went down after colliding with an iceberg.
I once captained a ship called the Argent Raptor. She struck an iceberg and went down just north of Windhelm.
In the vanilla game, this location does not exist at all, and this brings us to a mod called The Wreck of the Argent Raptor. This mod fixes this issue and adds the wreck of the ship north of Windhelm for you to find and explore, adding that needed continuity in the game. Whether you want to loot it out, enjoy the freezing ocean wind, or just sleep well knowing it's there, the mod is simple, it's small, it's just an immersive piece of continuation in the game. Riverwood is already probably one of the coziest places you can be in the province, but with the new Ivy mods, it's possibly even more so. With Ivy, Gates of Riverwood, the town has new automated gates and defensive walls, but also a guard tower and a lot of fitting and charming clutter around them. The gates automatically open at 6 AM and close at 7 PM, and all this makes the settlement feel more secure. There's also Ivy Riverwood, a small bridge replacer, which does what its name suggests and replaces the small bridge next to Alvor's smithy. The wood elf in a love triangle, Feindal, gets his home revamped as well, with Ivy Feindal Home Overhaul transforming it to the perfect hunter's retreat. Both the exterior and interior of the house is overhauled into a cozy haven with various small details that mirror Feindal's occupation and roots. I would definitely love to live here too, but it can never be mine. On the other hand, Ivy Riverwood Timber Rest can be mine, and it could be yours too. This mod adds a small quest and a player home on the other side of the river, a treehouse with no loading screens at all. To gain an access to this house, first you need to read the note on the table. By the way, this is done so well with the voice acting and everything, and this takes you to a hunt nearby to find the key.
I cannot ignore it any longer. I need to find out what is going on.
This player home features basic crafting tables, crop planters, storage, and most of all, the coziest vibes and one of the best views out of a window in whole Skyrim. There are many other Riverwood mods by this author available, and in the future I've understood that there should be an all-in-one overhaul coming. It is time to touch some grass. I know you guys need it. I know I need it, so let's just get it over with. From the author of Nature of the Wildlands, arguably the best looking tree overhaul out there, which I'm also using in this footage, we have a new project, Wildlands Renewal Grass and Groundcover Improvement mod. This mod is a realistic grass and ground cover textures overhaul with some artistic elements to make it more unique and stand out from the rest of the grass overhauls. All of Skyrim's regions are covered by this mod, and the areas in DLCs are also included, whether you are in the lush fall forests of the Rift, the mountainous Reach, or Falkreath's beautiful pine forests. Also, the dirt cliffs have some foliage on top of them, which is a lovely feature that I have been longing for so many years. Oh my gosh! These grass textures can be downloaded in 2K or 4K, but 2K is recommended for normal use. This mod also requires the use of ENB or community shaders, but if you use either one with this mod, the nature simply comes alive, and I could just stroll around the environment for hours. Needless to say, it is absolutely magnificent. Nature can also come alive with the different things that can wash up to the shore of the Sea of Ghosts. With Shores of Skyrim base object swapper, the empty and clean northern beaches are now enriched with different things to collect or throw back to the sea. Beautiful seashells, different kinds of stones, pieces of driftwood, and planks from shipwrecks like the Argent Raptor we saw earlier. There are also these new mussels added that can be used for ingredients for potions. All in all, there are over 200 new hand-placed objects lying on the beaches, and while there really isn't a big gameplay effect, this kind of small thing can make a big difference, especially when taking a walk on the shoreline of Sea of Ghosts. FuzzBeed has some amazing location overhauls, and now there are two more. First off, let's check out Corrupted Cradlestone Tower, FuzzBeeds Forsworn camps. In vanilla, Cradlestone Tower is just a measly old abandoned tower in the Reach, so the changes made by this mod are very welcomed. Now the area has more old structures, walls, huts, another tower that's fallen, a crypt, and an aqueduct waterfall typical to these Reach landscapes. With the mod, this minor location feels less minor and more of an actually important place where the Reachmen and the monstrous Hagraven hang out. The main purpose of this part of the mod series is to enhance the Forsworn camps, so they have most of all more variety and overall make them appear more interesting and also make them more dangerous with some added enemies to fill up the new space. Next to the ruin of Ironbind Pass, up the hill of the mountain, there is a pathway to the other side of it that is called the Wayward Pass. It is the last resting place of a warrior honored under the Shrine of Archay. With Wicked Wayward Pass, FuzzBeed's minor locations, the location gets a small makeover with added structures, sculptures, and eagle motifs that aim to make it feel more ancient and Nordic. This is a simple overhaul, just adding some fitting details, and I think it leaves Wayward Pass feeling a little bit more esteemed. Now, before we go into an interesting new Daedric quest mod, let's check out 2 new armor mods. First off, we have Thalmor Ceykynd armors, a lore-friendly Thalmor assassin set with new weapons, loading screens, and enemies added to the mix. This heavy armor is scaly and sleek, comparable to Ebony armor's rating, and it can be crafted with the Ebony smithing perk, or alternatively found on certain enemies. These Ceykynd assassins spawn among the Thalmor soldiers after you hit level 20, but you can stumble upon them earlier in your adventures as well. The second armor we have today is Wandering Mercenary armor. This is a light armor set that comes with a casual clothing option, and there's also a new weapon, a matching two-handed sword. Wearing this armor, you'll definitely blend in with the public, as it is very simple and crafted with reasonable materials and colors. The casual clothing version is useful for when wandering around in cities and feels somehow immersive, as you can just put on the gambeson and helmet and be on your way again. Wandering Mercenary armor can be crafted with a steel smithing perk, and the helmet fits the non-human races out of the box as well. Finally, we have a new quest mod, Sleepwalking into a Nightmare. In this fully voice-acted quest, you'll help a man called Forsworn find his missing wife Gretzka, who mysteriously vanished overnight. These 2 people live in this charming cabin in the rift on a rather dangerous-looking cliff.
My wife, Gretzka. When I woke up this morning, she wasn't here. She still hasn't shown up yet.
The husband tells us that she has been having nightmares and sleepwalking lately, and at this point, I was just worried that she might have just walked down the cliff. That is probably not the case, so we must search the places Gretzka usually spends her time in to try and find any traces of her. Not long until we find her belongings, and in her journal, she describes the nightmares she's been having. Returning to the cabin, Forsworn deducts from the journal that Gretzka has traveled to the place from her nightmares deep in the Sea of Ghosts, and that's where we're headed next. That is the intro to this quest, the rest you'll have to play for yourselves. Let me just tell you, it is an exhilarating yet touching adventure with some clever puzzles and physical and mental enemies to fight in a unique world space.
You're less of a Debella and more Perryite. No?
Sleepwalking into a Nightmare also includes multiple endings depending on the choices you make and many different possible quest rewards. What did you think of this month's picks? I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Also, do not forget to press the like button and subscribe if you'd like to see my videos on your front page in the future. And for those who'd like to further support my efforts on the channel, watch some extra content, and gain access to the private Discord, check out patreon.com/bardscollegegraduate. My thanks to Eric Slagenweit, Big Wang, Billy Duncan, Dode Punker, Frank Brackett, OnShowFlyer15, Ryan Ulrich, and the Panicked Monk, as well as my other Patreon supporters whom I appreciate the most. Thank you so much for watching the video. See ya!